To the Oceanic favorite clubhouse is Cafe selected by 6TARGETS, Consulate by Rock LFO. I mean, yeah, probably not too much to dissect here for these two teams outside of the fact that Clubhouse being the decider rather than the kind of map, along with say like a Chalet. Club and Chalet typically are usually picked pretty often in the region, so good to see branching out in terms of the Cafe and the Consulate selections.
Yeah, I expect this to be very grind-heavy, slow style siege. Again, with some of the attacking woes we've seen, particularly from the likes of Rock LFO, anticipating them to start out an attack on Consulate. That's going to be a big talking point. But yeah, a lot of these maps typically very set play heavy, going to be slow going, and it's going to be very execution based and making sure those 1%ers are correct.
Well, no more waiting around. Let's get underway. It is the first round of the lower bracket in OCE for APL. Loser is out of kickoff. Winner progresses forward and plays again later this afternoon against Team Anios, which will be a task in itself. And this game, though, and this series, you know, you win this and you can probably walk away from the stage thinking, yeah, we weren't too bad. At least we got a win. And, you know, you get the opportunity against Anios. Anything can then happen there. I mean, you lose this though, guys, and it's, you know, back-to-back best of 3 losses and you're out. It's a lot harder to take something positive away from the stage.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely foresee the winner of this finding the Anios matchup quite challenging. And again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but if it ends up being a close 3-mapper and is extended, they're going to go into that match pretty fatigued as well, which is really going to heighten the difficulty curve for them. So whoever wins this, if they want to stand a chance against Anios, it needs to be a pretty dominant 2-0 in my opinion. And I don't really foresee that happening, but who knows? We'll wait and see. As into Cafe we go. Rock LFO starting out on defense. Bans are Mirror, Aruni, Grim, and Glaz.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So map pick of 6TARGETS, but they begin on the attack. A bit of talking inside of the server early on. Density was the highlight man last week, guys, if you recall, for 6TARGETS, but ultimately ended up being a loss. The main highlight coming on Ninehaven Labs with the Monty Shield clutch play. Not on the Monty to begin, and it is available.
10 seconds left.
Rock LFO was, yeah, I mean, not great last week. 7-1 loss on Lair, 7-5 loss on Chalet. Competitive, at least on the second map, against Man Esports. It's hard to really pick the favoritism tag going into this series, which that in itself is exciting. But if you did have to give it to someone, I'm kind of just edging closer to Rock LFO, simply based on the matches that we saw back in the opening week.
So the castle in play here from defense. It's going to call for util clearance from the attack. In terms of the level of explosives that they do have available, it does feel a little limited on the surface, and they probably don't want to overinvest the Selma utility into that. So it actually looks pretty strong in terms of the comp here for Rock LFO. They can leverage the castle barricades appropriately. Someone's to be invested here over towards top red, which makes sense. Double repel in play.
Located a bomb.
And so it's a double drone specialist as well, the Twitch and the Brava combination. They should be able to deal with the catch here from the Wamai. And maybe even deal with mute jammers if necessary as well. Looks like the defense is going to contest pretty long angles over towards Roshrooms. ACOG was up close and dropped, but got a kill. Finds Nico, who had the cutoff held. That's a sharp shot from him. Pick elsewhere also going the way of Rock LFO. And so it's a 4v3.
And just not at the time that you really want that for 6TARGETS either in the setup. You lose the Nomad, so the lack of air jabs. Those air jabs can help just kind of solidify the space that you can take on this top floor. It's all double nitrocell too for Rock LFO. They'd be very happy now with this situation heading into the last minute. You got the extra player advantage. 6TARGETS don't really have a whole lot of utility outside of 2 flashes, 2 smokes. I mean, they're quite limited now. Yeah, they've opened up washrooms. They can take these positions that we see from Orion, but you just then got to still cross, walk into Machine, forces out the shots, and then they get rid of Density as Syro was able to get on the flank, got the kill. Now pushed over towards Pixel, and Orion loses out to Machine. Held his position nicely as Rock LFO take the opening round. Top floor defense is theirs.
Yeah, pretty easy consolidation there late round from the defense, aided off the back of 2 unanswered kills at the beginning of the round. In terms of expectations then for this half, I don't know, it's really hard to assess, again, given the grindy nature of a map like Cafe at times, especially if the two teams inside of the server have proven so far at least to not be the strongest of attacking teams. They've actually been pretty solid defensively, and so I'm sure we'll see that storyline develop as well. But as I mentioned before, Rock LFO, just the 1 attacking round 1 so far out of 8 opportunities, 6 targets, 5 out of 14, so at about a 35% hit rate. Defensively, Rock LFO sit at 42%, 6 targets, 61. And so Rock LFO, at least purely based on the 1 series we've seen so far, again, how much of that you want to take, I would take it with a grain of salt, but I think that in combination with some of the historical data suggesting that they need a very, very strong half here. 4-2 is the bare minimum for me, that they can then go into the attacking half with the ability to go on and close out the game.
Early days, only 1 round. Probably don't take too much away, even from the first half, unless this ends up being, I think, anything better than a 4-2, so 5-1 or 6-0 in favor for Rock LFO would be a real big win for them in the half. A 4-2 half, though, I think you're sitting still very much in the camp of, yeah, this is going to be a close series. It will go to the second half. 6 targets will then, yeah, likely do something similar. It was ACOG, though, that kind of kickstarted it all, but in the end, it was 1 kill for every single member of Rock LFO, sharing the love in the opening round. And now Density goes onto the Monty, and they lose Syro early to Orion. Oh, Snow trying to find the headshot angle. At least gets rid of the Selmas. Now back on the opening week for 6 targets. It was... Well, actually, sorry, no, it was last week they played. They didn't play on the opening week. They were the 1 upper quarterfinal game that missed out. But yeah, last week, Orion, I thought, had a very, very solid day out. Density had big moments. And Kybernex as well. Certainly had moments as well. Which is always what you want to see, guys, is new names, new faces performing. And I think that's what you're kind of going to get from 6 targets, led by Nico.
Yeah, who knows how long-term this particular project will be, but I could foresee a couple of these players maybe going on and developing their talent elsewhere in future, depending on how things do shape up for this roster. Because there's definitely potential on the team. 5v3. Let's see, though, if they can convert here. 70 seconds on the clock. Lola still lurking up above. Finds a good timing there onto Kyvanix. But is forced back by Density. The Monty able to take that space back and return. So not the absolute end of the world for 6 targets. And with that pick back onto Loyalith, surely from here forward to the round is likely theirs. Machine isolate over towards Prep, his position known. ACOG as well, position known. Orion can combat. 45 seconds, rest of the team now just needs to collect.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to play into that roam game, spread the map vertically, and it just hasn't worked. Credits to 6 targets. I think they... Oh, hang on. Machine and ACOG both just got 1 apiece. Density in Freezer... Yeah, just kind of tried to send it in a little too early, and I think it's the eagerness of the 4v2 that baited in 6 targets. They still had 40 seconds left. Oh my days! ACOG just goes nuts. They steal the round in a 2v4. That is a huge thrown round from 6 targets. A massive missed opportunity. Should have won that round. You had the Monty. You had them in sight. You had 40 seconds. You had 2 players extra. You easily could just flood together. And they just started to kind of go in one by one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look back at that replay package. Loyal did enough to then be able to fall back. And Orion at this point had information on both players. But
why is he pushing himself?
Yeah, instead of waiting for the Monty drop, it was a solo push through. ACOG had to convert and did a really, really good job actually to position himself and cleanly win all of those engagements, but 6TARGETS not leveraging the amount of control and advantage that they had afforded themselves in that round. They did all the hard work early, but unfortunately, the late round conversion was a little bit of a mismatch.
That's where 6TARGETS have to use a round like that as a learning moment where you can kind of go back and say, well, what went wrong and how did we not secure that round? It's pretty obvious. And those are the kind of things that you learn in scrims, and you just got to play together as a team. And maybe it was a miscomm, it was a miscue, but to me on the replay, yeah, Ryan just kind of went on heavy by himself. That creates the 1v1 opportunity, and you give that over to a player like ACOG who can certainly frag out. Well, he got the back end of the round. It should have been around with 6TARGETS, and it would have put them in a very nice early position to get an attack around here on Cafe in the first half. Remember, this is their map pick. So you do want to secure Cafe before heading over to Consulate if you are 6TARGETS. And I think Rock LFO, like many teams in OCE, just play off momentum and feeling and how they're going on the day. They can kind of rise up a couple of levels if they start well, get the momentum on their side nice and early, hitting good shots. You look at ACOG, 4 kills already, the kind of player that'll just think, yep, I'm on today. And Skyvenix will just lurk over towards Cocktail. Shots ring out from both sides as he pops the fire extinguisher and is now allowed to reposition. It is fireplace and mining for the third round.
It's been pretty efficient top floor clear from 6TARGETS. It's all now about converting that into pressure on the horizontal. It's a pretty spread defense at the moment from Rock LFO. An attempt to isolate here over towards Reading. And
oh, what a shot.
Okay.
So that's the difference, though. I don't think Ryan's done anything wrong there. You're playing the snake, you get a ping, he's trapped in left side, you've got him on the cross, he just loses the swing. It's as simple as that. I don't think he does anything wrong there, but mechanically gets beaten. Machine did go down for Rock LFO, so even numbers. As you said, 6TARGETS did a decent job of getting this top floor control in a timely manner. There's still 60 seconds left. ACOG Loyalist very low. So again, another winnable round for 6TARGETS here on the attack. It's just all about executing down the stretch, late in the round. Loyalist, another tag onto him. 1 HP. Skyvenix pressuring and pushing down White.
Well, ACOG's positioning here has been really, really good. Low on HP, but he allows Sara to go for the swing. He's bought so much time for his team. Pushed down 90 though, but it's being cut down. Density, the last one left. Winnable.
Well, hang on, winnable. 20 seconds. Loyalist is very, very low. Density's already shown he's got the clutch factor. The problem is the time, and he doesn't have the kit. And I love the way that Snow's playing this over towards Pillar. Safe, calculated, play the kit, force the time, 10 seconds. He has to kill and clear. He goes for the timing swing, and Snow hits the shot. And Rock LFO make it 3 straight to kickstart this series.
Yeah, good fight back in that round. They forfeited the top control pretty quickly, pretty early on, and so they had to back themselves in to win a couple of key engagements, especially over towards that Reading laundry-esque position, and they did exactly that. The snake got slammed, the vert didn't quite land. ACOG bought really good time by playing and valuing his life on the Malusi as well. So a lot going right there for Rock LFO in that round. I think they'll be pretty pleased. The Malusi and now the Brava also off the board.
Look back at the replay and you can see the start here, Ryan. He gets the ping. He got this drone as well forward, which gave him the confidence to swing that, knowing he was trapped in on the left side, but just lost the battle. And then towards the end, even here, 8 seconds on the clock, even if Density gets that kill, grabs kit, he doesn't have time to find the next kill, which forces him into a planting position, and therefore then likely means he can't really win the round anyway, which is just off the back of Snow playing the patience game. Sitting, tucked in, times his swing nicely at the end so that if he even does lose it at that point, they're probably still not going to lose the round anyway. 3-0 start for Rock LFO. as they take out top floor, bottom floor, and the middle floor. We're going around the world. Go back to the top floor, bar and cocktail, which was their most dominant round. With you kind of look at the 3 rounds, 3 alive at the end of the first, and then 2 alive and 2 alive with multi-kills from ACOG and Snow. And those 2 rounds in particular, 6TARGETS certainly had opportunities, definitely in the second round. And so far, the battle of the Padawan of the Master, though, is going the way of Snow. Nico yet to fire a shot.
Yeah. Oh, Zethy falls. Machine with an aggressive pick down below. With the shotgun able to net that kill. So it's another strong start to the round for this defensive unit. 6TARGETS have had flashes so far, but it just seems like overall Rock LFO are the stronger of the two so far. How much of that is purely based on the starting sides? Well, we only get an answer to that as the game develops, but it's 3-1 for opening kills so far. Density now trying to contest over towards Shop, and ACOG slammed. A response there from Loyalist keeps it still in the advantage of defense.
Lovely
Density.
angle.
Yeah.
To 3v3. Again, another opportunity for 6TARGETS, and with Density still up on the Blackbeard and making waves in this round. Every chance again of pinching it, but it's these last minute end of round scenarios that Rock LFO has just been a bit better at. But having the Blackbeard available to help push in towards the site, clear out maybe a position like Washroom will certainly aid 6TARGETS, but they probably want Density gun up at the moment because he's the one hitting the shots in this 4th round. Drone over towards Stacks, does find one. Kybenix, with a minute left, will look to make his way inside of the building. Gets the air jabs placed. And now the move comes from Density in towards Rosham. Oh, he takes a big chunk of damage, but then the headshot traded by Loyalist, and then Nico will fall without making an impact again. Kybenix by himself in a 1v2, and this is where for Machine and Loyalist, you don't want to give him the 1v1s. Machine will finish off Nico with the Nitro Cell, as Kybenix has got 40 seconds to navigate this 1v2, and he hits the headshot on the Loyalist, holding the angle rather than sitting back, but Machine locks in, gets the kill. Lovely angle from Machine, wins the 1v1, and it's a 4th round for Rock LFO.
Yeah, that's really good work there from Machine in terms of his positioning and overall composure to cleanly get that kill. Kai was never really realistically going to read that position. It would have been a pretty remarkable prediction if he had have pre-fired that position. It was quite an unusual play there. Machine typically you would expect to be over towards Cocktail, but Density had massive impact in this round. The Blackbeard was proving very, very difficult to deal with. Large reason why 6TARGETS even looked remotely competitive in this round. Just falling short of the mark. Nico failing to have significant impact on the scoreboard in this round once again. In terms of utility, he's been fairly strong, but yeah, struggling to hit the scoreboard. We know that he can at times. And so Rock LFO now have sort of reached that 4-round benchmark that I was mentioning prior, where given maybe some of their weaknesses on attack that we've seen historically, they need to have a strong base to play off. They've got that now. Anything from here, and it starts to tilt more and more in favor of them actually being able to close out this map. And if they're able to do that, being the selection of 6TARGETS, then it really opens up the series for them.
We head back to Kitchen. I mean, again, Cafe can play in this way, and then I think what we've seen from 6TARGETS does suggest we wouldn't be surprised if they go and win, you know, the next 2 attacking rounds, and we end up back in a safe position. And the other factor of this is going to be then still switching at the half. I think 6TARGETS very much can bring it back on their own defense. It's just critically when it gets to that 5-1, 6-0, you then left with no room for error. You cannot make any mistakes whatsoever. Nico will be disappointed with this first half. 0-4, and had an opportunity in the previous round when it was in a 3v3. Density was popping off. Loved his aggression, pushing into Washroom. Still got the kill. Just needed a little help. Machine on the clash. He's having a good game, 5-1.
Reloading.
Machine's a good example as well of a player coming in last year, guys. You know, sort of a rookie year at the pro league level, and you know, taking a bit of time to adapt. But evidently, the more time you spend at this level, the more that you will improve. And Syro gets the opening kill onto Orion. That's his second opening death. And it means it's 4 of the first 5 rounds that Rock LFO have had the opening kill. Just doesn't help on the attack of Cafe when you're consistently down a player.
Well, it's a force like outside Bakery, and it's straight into the clash. Supported by Go utility as well. Nico needs to land a flush out here.
I'm swapping mags.
Machine is not panicked at all.
That. No, I mean, he's chilling. The only thing that forces him out here is the Nico bolts. So Nico will wait for this Goyo to flush, and then he'll lay these bolts.
Is the bolt. Machine picks up his shield, and he survives. You know what? As low as he is, and he has been pushed back by the utility, he didn't panic. He knew full well. Oh, well, I mean, that's a wonderful follow-up from Kybenix. There's not much you can do about that. That is some really good utility to clear out the clash. But they're also now in a position where they may still lose the round anyway, because it's such a big stack Bakery. It means that for the rest of the defense, they know exactly where everyone's coming from. I saw the yellow ping onto Snow. His position is known inside of Cooking. So I think Kybenix wants to try and focus on finding ACOG. Now he's looking for the clear. Still has that yellow ping. He wants to leave it there, get the free kill. He's got 4. Now looking for the ace against ACOG, who does still have a nitro swing around. Oh my goodness. ACOG hits the headshot while getting pre-fired swung. He doesn't hit that headshot. He probably dies. But that doesn't matter. They win the round. It's 5-0 to Rock LFO.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kai, again in the clutch, having a really good read. That one, he's strongest of the ones we've seen so far, but ACOG is just so sharp in the clutch. It's one of his key standout features. Does a really good job there to hit the headshot, get the job done. Another messy round a little bit there for 6 targets. The Bakery flush out wasn't ideal, and even once the clash finally fell, they lost picks elsewhere because Machine did a good job to afford a bit of time for his team to start repositioning. Sari was over towards Small Bake this entire time, as you could see in the replay, and was able to apply pressure. Left Kai in this 1 versus 2, able to split them, but then gets caught. Sharp shot from ACOG. A 5-0 lead for Rock LFO.
10 seconds left before insertion.
You got Kybenix 8-5, Density 5-5, both playing really well, but yeah, Zethi 1-5, Nico 0-5, Orion 2-5, and with a couple of opening deaths to his name. And yeah, I mean, 6 targets will look back at this match, look back at this first half and think, geez, we could have gotten some rounds. Like 3 alive, 2-2-1-1. That's back-to-back 1v1s won by 6 targets, and yet potentially another opening kill, depending on Zethi's status. He is down, but will get revived, you would imagine.
Okay, Thorn Trap.
And Orion goes down anyway. Opening death again. 3 for Orion in the last 4 rounds. And Syro will rub salt into the wounds by calling him a noob. Orion, of course, was very impactful for 6 targets last week. And sets Rock LFO up now in a wonderful position for a 6-0 half on 6 targets map pick.
Heartbeat sensor activated.
So 6 targets now will drop down over towards red, but that's straight into the arms of the information gather from Machine, who down below on the pulse could be in a position to maybe hit a double
nitro. Oh my goodness, he gets at least 1. You take that, and he's probably looking at this now thinking, how did I not get this guy? Well, he might just get him anyway. Machine is having an absolute wonderful half, as is his team. Rock LFO, 6-0 in the first half of Cafe.
Don't even need no conversation. The way we're moving is a situation. Girl, we connecting like a constellation. 2 stars on the floor tonight. Stars on the floor tonight. It's like telepathic how I move with you. Can't no one touch us, girl, too smooth. Yeah, but one time, I could tell it all stars align. Them boys ain't there, yeah, I keep it smooth. I know you know when to. That's just something we do. And tonight's like it's just you and I. Ain't no stress, we survive. Don't even need no conversation. The way we're moving is a situation. Girl, we connected like a constellation. Where I know you from? Two stars on the floor tonight. Stars on the floor tonight.
Saucy. I've been bogged down. Nowhere to crawl now. I be looking for a good mood. I've been trying to shake a bad day. I've been running through the rat race. Head got a case of brown now. But you looking like a vibe check. Eyes wet, let me flip that little frown down. Hit my line when you running through the town now. We don't even need no conversation. The way you moving is a situation. And we connected like a constellation. Two stars on the floor tonight. Two stars on the floor tonight.
It don't require no contemplation. The way we got it with no hesitation. We shine just like a constellation. Two stars on the floor tonight. Stars on the floor tonight.
I be floating to the feeling all lost. Take a risk, pay the cost, and I'm right back in this sauce. One thing I'ma make sure to do, I'ma floss. Show me who you are. She won't be playing C, she the cream of the crop. And it be like,
Well, we returned to a beatdown, apparently. I mean, something that I think we anticipated coming into this series, guys. I think we said this pretty confidently in that we probably expected this series to be even in nature. I mean, it can still be. You have best of threes that go all three maps, and it's kind of a beatdown on one map and then a beatdown on the other. The concern, though, for 6TARGETS is this is their map pick. And so you go to Consulate now, and we're not going to be entirely sure as to how comfortable and confident they will be on that map as we get the bans Grim, Snake, Castle, and Daruni. It's a long way back now. 6 straight required for 6TARGETS.
Yeah, the first half certainly a grind, no short of a grind for 6TARGETS. They found themselves in a couple of pretty good positions over the course of the half where they failed to convert, but largely Rock LFO dominating. 5 of the 6 opening kills. Seemed to have pretty good reads in terms of game plan. That had a lot of information over the course of the half as well that they were able to leverage with either the Valk or the Pulse, etc. And util game is also very strong from them. So overall, do a really good job. 6TARGETS, again, probably not playing to full potential. It's probably fair to state, but I also don't think that they played particularly bad either. Rock LFO genuinely outclassing their opposition in that first half. But now they're on to attack. Will they have the same woes in terms of finding this game or map winning round?
Well done.
Yeah, and go back to the opening round, by the way, which was every single player on Rock LFO got 1 kill. So it was a team ace. And you kind of look at where the numbers have now gone after 6 rounds, and they're all pretty much equal. The difference being 7 for Machine, 5 for ACOG, and then 6 for the other 3. Is that's what you want. You're never really going to get it all that often. Certainly, you'll have cases where individuals will pop off and individuals will have a quiet one. But on the average, your goal really should be to have a stat line such as that, where all 5 players are conveniently contributing at a similar level. And on the flip side, a good example, for 6TARGETS, like Kybinix is 8 and 6. He had a good moment. He got a 4K in a single round. Density's had some good moments, but outside of that, Orion, Zethi, and Nico had 3 kills combined for the 3 players after 6 rounds. So you're not getting enough out of them. Now that we go defense, this is when usually it's going to be a little bit easier to kind of ease yourself in and find some picks and feel more comfortable. But you're not comfortable when you're 6-0 down. That's the issue.
Oh, Hardbridge gone astray there for ACOG.
Saw him throw the head back.
It's never a fun feeling as the Habana and you miss the lineup. Might be able to make amends. Minute 40 on the clock then. And still 5 players on the exterior. Very natural though for a top floor attack. A lot of utility has been invested though, and Machine just drops the skylight.
Well, yeah, they just want to push, get aggressive. Machine's having an all-timer here, 9-2. Can he get the next one onto Orion? No, up close headshot, and Orion Nico combine 1v1. This would be a fitting way to close out this opening map as ACOC puts an end to it. It's 7-0. Wow.
I can't believe it was a 7-0. Done in a flash and able to get it done on attack as well. Really strong presentation there from Rock LFO. It's only one map. They'll need to show it across potentially one or even two more if it does go the distance, but that wasn't even their map selection, so they're off to a perfect start.
this region has got to offer.
Well, a surprise start to the day here for APL O's Week 3. Rock LFO 7-0 6 targets in a matchup that we labeled to be competitive, close, difficult in kind of ascertaining who was the favorite or the under favorite. Well, certainly the case now is set. It's Rock LFO's series to lose from here. When you win the first map, your opponent's map picks 7-0.
Yeah, absolutely. ACOG leading the charge, 8 and 2 at a 160 EPS, but not too far behind. Despite this low light here, was Machine 155 EPS, 9 and 3, having what I would probably regard as, at least in my memory, one of his best, if not best, map played at a tier 1 level. He was phenomenal, had a couple of really high impact clutch moments. Good example here on defense, on the pulse. Again, he was, a standout in the replay package, and 6 targets. They'll have to take this one on the chin, unfortunately. Nothing quite going their way. They found themselves in a couple of decently winnable positions over the course of those 7 rounds, but just failed to convert. And one of the most telling metrics of the dominance of this map in the end was that opening kill battle. 6 out of the 7 rounds in favor of Rock LFO, and a testament to their ability to convert. They weren't all easy rounds to convert, but clearly they were able to get them across the line.
This is where you see the fight back from 6 targets. You're facing elimination from kickoff. You got 7-0 on your map pick. You've got to show something, and do so early heading into Consulate. The second map of this series, Rock LFO, you win this one, and potentially quickly. Well, maybe it won't be such a long wait for your series later today against Team Anios. But 6 targets, got to win Consulate to get it to Clubhouse, to have an opportunity to stay alive in kickoff.
Yeah, one of the saving graces maybe for 6 targets in this map and for the series will be the starting sides. Rock LFO have yet to prove enough on their attacks so far in kickoff. Very limited data set, and obviously we only saw the one attacking round back on Cafe. But a good tester for them here on Consulate, with momentum well and truly on their side. They should be feeling good heading into cons, and it is their selection as well. So in terms of the preparation, the game plan here, they should have a really clear idea of what they want to try and execute. And we'll see if they're able to translate that inside of the server. As for the bans, Blackbeard and Smoke in wave number 1, and the Grim Warden to follow.
Well, the vibes seem decent enough for 6 targets. I think that's where Nico really shines. He's smiling, he's happy, even though they got 7-0. There's a couple of ways you could look at it. Maybe some people would prefer a little bit more cause for alarm, but I like the fact that you go into this second map, keep the vibes high. It's a reset opportunity. Okay, first map, nothing worked. You got 7-0'd. It happens. You know what else happens is teams actually can come back and win the next map after getting 7-0'd. You know, sometimes it's map dependent, flow, and just nothing's really working. And when you kind of break down a lot of the rounds on that opening map, you had 3 clutches from Rock LFO. So if you even just swap those 3 rounds in the other direction, it's a 4-3 scoreline, whole different ballpark. Like, it's a whole different game. In saying that, I mean, that didn't happen, and you now go to Consulate with Rock LFO, tails up. And they'll feel very confident coming into their map pick, starting on the attack first as we head basement in the opening round.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Jammer ready to activate.
Intriguing lineup as well here for the basement. Objective first up from the side of the attack. Machine, again, persisting on shields. The introduction of the sense as well. So maybe indicative that we see Rock LFO go for a more direct approach here in towards site. Roam deployed from 6 targets. So they're not shying away from playing aggressive, and Syro probably fortunate to get away with that one. So I think he needs to be mindful he doesn't overstay his welcome too much, as the souls will be valuable through the mid round. Well, he's on drone. There was a drone on top of that bench, so they now know Rock LFO that he's repositioned up above. He's persisted. So Machine goes to chase, and Zethi forced back.
Kyvanek's down as ACOG finds the opening kill. It's not ideal for 6 targets if you're going to be continuing to lose that metric back on Cafe. 6 of the 7 rounds went the way of Rock LFO in terms of the opening kills. And it starts in the same fashion here on Consulate. An early advantage for the attack. You can now really start to take some space and have many different ways to entry into this basement. Especially with Machine on that blitz. And the reaggress is not a bad idea, but you don't want to over-invest in this. Nico does get Snow through the wall. Traded, though, by Loyalist. So even with that reaggress, they're outnumbered. And so, therefore, the trade game just goes the way of Rock LFO. And now, from a 1-player deficit to a 2, for Density and Orion, it is just going to have to be sit basement and hope that Rock LFO fumble this.
Pretty much. Nitro from Orion deployed.
Ooh.
Does land. So Cyro and Loyal are pretty low on HP as well, and into the DMR combo here. It could be a little dicey.
Yeah, this is winnable now. That pick on the Machine gets rid of the blitz, and therefore you don't have to shoot into a shield, and then you catch ACOG on the turnaround around the angle with Loyalist, Cyro low on health, but they get rid of Orion. Still winnable for Density. He's shown he's got the clutch factor at the Pro League level. And Loyalist steps into the Razor Bloom. Density can still win this with 20 seconds left to try and find the first round in the series for 6 targets. He got tagged up. Can't probably swing that again. Great angle. Great double kill. And 6 targets are finally on the board.
Yeah, again, another good clutch from Density. You can add that to the portfolio for the year. He's had quite a few already. Displaced by the frag grenade, but able to hit the swing. A really nice angle there. It looked a little volatile for Rock LFO, and yeah, unable to convert that round. Some good clutch moments from 6 targets. And they win their first round of the series. And is that maybe just a bit of a peek inside as to what to expect for this half with Rock LFO and their attacks under the microscope?
I mean, the fact that they get a round win, finally, after getting 7-0, the fact that they were able to win one of the clutches, and this is what I was kind of talking about coming into this map. Back on Cafe, there were many rounds such as that, and all of those rounds went the way of Rock LFO. If it had have happened again, the start on Consulate, it's just the demons then in the back of your mind that just make you think today's not our day, but a huge clutch from Density. Orion having a helping hand as well in that round. His Nitrocell onto Machine, I think, really changed the course of that round. The lack of shield to be able to push and aggress directly on top of them and get up close meant you had to play these more longer angle fights. Gave 6 targets the ability to kind of maneuver around, swing the angles that they wanted to swing from. The next step now, you've won a clutch. The next step is, can you get an opening kill? Can you start a round off on a positive note?
Good, you took clearance early then over towards CEO for Rock LFO. Currently posturing for this more direct hit on towards side as opposed to the map clear. Although I think they'll leave their options open. Not restrict themselves too much. Nico placing out his last Valk camera, I believe, inside of console. Loyalist will lurk below on the snake. Trying to utilize that info gathering on the radar. It was a little bit limited in the last round. It did initially help with the map clear, but late round its impact was not as much as he would have liked. An interesting low position here. Zethi down below. Rips the barricade. But the air jab will prevent him from running out. Just a good little perceived amount of pressure, though, for the rest of the attack, which is still stacked outside for this CEO hit.
Loyalist low, so he's got to be very, very careful as he moves around here. Won't have as much of a reaction time if someone does kind of start shooting him. Be able to maybe take a hit or two and then fire back. Trying to put the pressure on from below, which you've got to be mindful of someone like Zethi. And Takeoff that got a pick onto Orion, but they did lose Machine, and ACOG's now going in for the plant inside of CO. Kyvanix hits the shot onto Loyal. ACOG got off it temporarily. Great swing, great pressure, and 6 targets are looking pretty switched on here on Consulate.
Yeah, good plant denial. Able to hit the timing required to put pressure on that plant. And Rock LFO was a hard commit. They didn't split the push, no pressure yellow, no on admin side or up spiral, for instance, of maybe trying to hit some kind of backstab. It was a full commit. And with that brings the risk of the nitro denial or finding a mistiming, etc. And that unfortunately was the case for them in that round.
And Density should get the last kill right now.
Yep.
So 2-0 start for 6 targets. Well, they came into the game smiling and happy and confident. 2 rounds in, more of the same. I don't think Rock LFO will be stressing too much after the first 2 rounds. They probably felt like they maybe should have won the first one. Second one was just a case of CO meeting, which can, at the best times, be a very difficult side to attack into. You kind of either have to go for that default hit, which you got so much utility that you're aware that you have to deal with. Otherwise, you go kind of admin across and try and go for a meeting hit. That takes a lot more time. You got to clear more things. Once you kind of opt for this CO hit, it's very difficult to sort of pull back from it and rotate later in the round because then you've got so little time. So it's kind of a one way or the other decided at the beginning of the round. 6 targets will be very, very happy though with the way things have shaped up to start Consulate after getting 7-0'd on Cafe. And I said it before, I mean, like, you can have a best of 3 series that's close in terms of the series, even if the maps themselves are not close. It's not all that uncommon.
Now, the tertiary is where Rock LFO really have to make it count. Yeah, it's pretty forgivable on cons in this style of head-to-head to lose your attacks into the primary and the secondary sites, but whether it be split or on this occasion over towards Expo, these are the must-win opportunities that they need to really ensure that they maximize. And for 6 targets, they'll eagerly be looking for this clean first rotation. The Blitz is back in play for Rock LFO. I like that into the Warden Band. Maybe a little surprised we don't see the Glaz deployed. Maybe for something like a bench hit, but given the like a primary hard breach here, that's certainly not on the agenda. So I do wonder what the game plan is for Rock LFO to stack yellow stairs at the moment. So it could be some kind of flood either above or then horizontally through into site directly. Just patiently gathering information at the moment. Syro has information, some good info, I think, on second floor at the moment. May have even spotted Orion there on the Echo as well. That could be quite impactful. And then Machine on the Snake, he can lurk on radar and then call what the anchor setup is on the site as well. Oh, and even get the kill. So some really good reads there so far from Rock LFO. Can rappel up, and the safety of the rappel, use the radar, one of the probably more overpowered features of that gadget. Minute 30.
Oh, I thought Kyvanix was in a chance to maybe get that headshot, but credit to Snow. Quick with the trick up, and Rock LFO finally getting off the mark here on Consulate, and they're making a statement in this third round as they get an opportunity to finally get boots into the building, spread around, get active and get aggressive. And you look at a lineup such as this, it's just all about aggression, and it works out absolutely to perfection on the board for Consulate, their first attacking round win.
Another big moment for Machine today. Good entry on the Snake, and then was able to rappel up, feed information for that top floor clear with the LSDS stack. I like that approach from Rock LFO. And it worked out quite cleanly for them. And so with that, they've been able to stabilize the scoreline as we introduce the additional bans for the remainder of the half, and then return back to the primary and secondary sites where Rock LFO will be very, very eager to try and lock back in and win at least one of those. Now, the Snake does get taken out, so Machine targeted. And then the Goyo as well to be dealt with, which may indicate that Rock LFO will once again try and go direct when we return to the top floor.
Oh, just for good measure, just in case he comes back to life. just keep on firing. Might be like a movie villain or something.
Changing mags.
Yeah, you get the feeling this one's going to be a lot closer on Consulate.
Reloading. Cover me.
You had a benefit though for Rock LFO already having the first map in the pocket. Means there's not as much pressure if it does kind of get down to the wire.
Discovered the location of a
And you get
bomb.
to something like a 5-5 scoreline. The more of that pressure will go the way of 6 targets, facing potential elimination.
I've placed base
A little response as well from 6 targets. They put Kymenix onto the vigil. As we go back down to basement, it will be curious to see how aggressive he gets on the roam, or whether or not it'll just be something like a visa hold to deny a potential entry position, then just drop hatch.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Intensity top floor as well on the Thorn. But if I'm going to be honest, guys, based on this lineup, this looks direct hit. This is actually
direct.
just
I like
direct
this.
hit.
They bring the glass again because the Warden Band been waiting to see this. They could Thatcher the EMP. Probably they can EMP the Nitro Denial. Sorry. I like this. I think this has very strong potential, provided they have the smoke coverage against the Vert.
It also means Kymenix density not here for this push in. But Kymenix, never mind, does get a kill. Bot yellow, he just rotated so quickly. Density as well. Both of them just got on the move. There was too much of a stack push through yellow and not enough through the breach. And that meant the rotating Kymenix and density, when they pushed back down, they just had 3 players essentially staring right at them. And I don't think Rock LFO were prepared for that double push down yellow stairs.
No. Yeah, just disconnect a little bit there, fell apart. Unable to leverage the glass over through the breach and start pressuring forms of plant denial. And then losing those battles over towards yellow, proving to be very costly. Snow in a 1v3. Not over just yet. But into a 3-man crossfire. It should be a sealed deal for the defense at this point. Snow will rotate back towards breach. Has a minute to work with.
And Nico's already aware of the fact that he's gone back over the breach. Repositions. Nico knows he doesn't want to peek this, because if he peeks this and dies, then it's a 1v2, 30 seconds. Snow's just going to be forced to run in. That's the right way to play it. It'll be 6 targets, 3-1. Easy as you like for Nico and co. A fascinating round, though, considering, yeah, it had the breach potential for Rock LFO in the same round that we saw the double roam employed by 6 targets. It meant that if they had have probably flooded a little bit more through breach, or certainly more aware of a potential flank down yellow stairs, that absolutely could have worked for them.
Attackers need to
I think they just got caught on the timings and maybe wasn't expecting such a quick rush back down yellow stairs from those roamers.
Deploying jammer. Ambush set. Stay clear.
So we return to top floor, and the ban of the Goyo, will that be influential enough here for Rock LFO to finally get a result across the line on one of the primary/secondary sites here on Concert? The only round win for them has come off the back of Expo Piano, and sure, if they can double down in that regard and get 2.5, it's really not too bad, but I think giving themselves an opportunity to net the third would be really influential and allow them, if they can flex their muscle defense like they did back on Cafe, to maybe close out this series in a 2-0 fashion.
Attackers are moving out to locate
Massive
bomb.
investment of utility still on the admin half of the map, and so perhaps 6 targets, very trap heavy lineup. They are expecting still that map sweep across, trying to force the clear bending, etc. Mute Mozzie combo also in play,
Searching for electronics.
so trying to disrupt the info gather potential as well here for the attack. I still can't help but shake the feeling that it will probably be more direct though from the attack, and they might try and double down for CEO, maybe try and introduce the yellow drop as well. Just have a different point of difference. The lineup is very much suggesting that's the case. I could send the Deimos below in exchange for the Snake to try and gain information and apply a bit of pressure on the Vert as well. But initial spawn indications are showing pressure Visa side, so maybe that isn't the case, and instead they will play into the extension. Machine already getting in the face of Kai. Hard breach to try and prevent him from escaping, but he does a good job to get out.
Oh, what a shot from Kybernix.
Reloading!
Yeah, they've looked a lot sharper here on console at 6 targets. Starting to get the feeling Clubhouse will be needed to separate these two teams just with what we've seen so far in the first half, because Kybernix, it's another wonderfully timed headshot. And this round is looking like it's done already. 5v2, nothing Machine could do on the Monty. Never really got involved, stuck over towards break. Acock playing behind him. Kybernix, you can fall back at some point, but he's all systems go. And gets some damage into Machine as well for good measure before finally going down. But the job done in the round from Kybernix. And now to put the finishing touch on from 6 targets, it's only Machine that's left. Ryan finishes him off 4-1 the lead.
Yeah, very definitive defense there. Again, positive signs for Kai, who was not only able to escape break room, but then uses the ranged hard breach hole created through that position against the attack. Hits a clean shot on Repel. It leaves Machine on an island on the Monty. They never really got in a position to go for the util clearance that was required.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
So you're right, 4-1 scoreline, and it all comes back to this tertiary side of Expo. If Rock LFO want to have a realistic chance in going on to win this map,
Attackers have located a
they
bomb.
need to show some good siege here in round 6 and get this result to go their way.
Activating camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long way back now for Rock LFO. And similar was kind of said back on Cafe in the first map. If this goes 5-1, 5 defensive rounds of consulate, I mean, that is a really, really good half for 6 targets.
5 seconds left.
There is a world in which that if Rock LFO pinch one here, go defense themselves, clearly maybe the map proving to be difficult for both of these teams to attack into, then things can change quickly. But that kind of starts with getting this round win. Becomes ever important now for Rock LFO to get this final round of the half. Get to 2 attacking rounds and then see what happens in the second half. Nico going for the window peek. He knows how close he was. That was certainly a real opportunity to get the opening kill for Nico. He's performed much better here on Consulate.
Reloading.
Desiccate, deploy.
Okay. That makes things a little intriguing. Let's see how, though, this does develop in the round. Oh, aggressive from Kai, and he doesn't back down. Snow falls. It's the Deimos out of play. Big loss. He doubles down with the second. And Rock LFO not even allowed inside of the building, and all Kai could do was shake his head. How has he been allowed to do that?
We just haven't been able to get these shields involved early in the rounds either in this half for Rock LFO. Machine chasing over towards Yellow, and he loses that to Zethi. Outplays him beautifully on Yellow stairs. Oh, it's a round-changing moment because Orion actually died at that same time. Machine gets that kill into Zethi, and it's a 3v3. Instead, now it's a 4v2. Make it 1 with ACOG falling. It's only Loyalist left. In the half, time break is beckoning in favor for 6 targets. A 5-1 lead is a real statement. After getting 7-0 on Cafe, they respond in this half beautifully. Dominant from start to finish for 6 targets. A 5-1 lead heading into the second half. Well, in some ways, I probably wasn't expecting this half either. This has been the series of unexpected results so far, guys. 7-0 on the first map, 5-1 in the second, in favor of 6TARGETS. They go on the attack now. And for Rock LFO, well, now they find themselves a long way back, and we're looking more likely that we head to Clubhouse.
Feels like it's shaping up that way. But I don't know. I feel like we still just have to wait and see. I mean, of course, we precursed the second half of Cafe with the fact that attack could be a challenge. And whilst that was cleanly converted quickly by Rock LFO, there's certainly no guarantee that will be the case here for 6TARGETS. They require 2 to get across the line. And we'll see how easy or difficult that may end up being. Replay package of the last round of the half. Snow got caught first. And the second, not too far behind in Syro. It's unfortunate that Rock LFO never really able to get things going on that tertiary attack. And so heading into the second half, we'll see how 6TARGETS are able to shape up in an attempt to convert top floor up first as anticipated, and very areas and all heavy defense set up from Rock LFO.
And there is a world in which this will end up being defender-sided, and Rock LFO can get their way back into this map.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
It's just one of those kind of rare cases, isn't it, where you kind of think, well, were these map selections the right way around, or did we get it wrong? So far, it's just been pretty cruisy for both teams on the opposition's respective map pick. And that's why, like, in this kind of early start to a stage, you know, roster swaps, changes, you don't put too much value into the map veto all that much. All these teams are capable of, you know, winning on pretty much every map anyway. It's kind of once you get to the, you know, the bigger stuff, the majors, the SIs, the real best of the best teams, that's when the map veto certainly is way more important. Much improved for Nico, struggled back on the opening map of Cafe. Just a single kill, went 1-7. 5-2 here on Consulate. And not a single player for Rock LFO going positive. One of the positive aspects I kind of said on Cafe was that everyone on Rock LFO played to a pretty much similar level. Well, the downside of that is if everyone now is playing to a similar level and no one is performing, you get this kind of result.
Blinding them.
Midpoint of the round, and utility now to be dumped in by Orion from Copy. Layering in that hard breach, trying to make this extension unpeakable for the defense. Rayora in play here from Nico as well. And Kai in a position to lurk forward through Spiral, but there is barbed wire in his way and makes that a little bit treacherous. Time ticking, smoke from Density. Looking to layer now utility alongside Zethi to push forward. When do they hit the go button? They have time. Logic bomb. And Kai sends it forward.
Yeah, 40 seconds left, still nothing found. This will be a free kill. Sara just caught asleep at the wheel, and 6TARGETS have made a very swift attack, and what a way to start the second half. Just back and forth. 30 seconds though, leaves 6TARGETS in the best position as ACOG down by himself. Rock LFO just offering little resistance overall. It's 6-1. May as well start cooking up Clubhouse. It is going to be required. This is just too easy for 6TARGETS on Consulate.
Very much seems to be shaping up that way at the moment. It's, yeah, one of those strange series where dominance on the opposing map picks seem to be the play. It was a good clear there overall from 6TARGETS. They laid util quite nicely, enabled Kai to be able to sneak forward in through front desk. And they're able to convert from there. Rock LFO at the death will call their tactical time out to see if they can find a last gasp here on Consulate.
Yeah, I mean, it might also be just sort of a preemptive timeout to talk about the series as a whole in some way, because let's be completely honest, I think the ability to get back into this one on consulate is pretty slim. So it'll just be probably a case of the basics. Try and get back to basics. Can you find a way to just get a little success? Can you get 2 rounds, string together some momentum? Most likely we're going to go to this third map. It's a long way back, 5 rounds straight. Very, very unlikely. But if you show something a little bit here on consulate, then even if you do eventually fall over, you can take some of that then going into club. What a momentum shift. And yeah, 7-0 into 6-1. Not what we expected after the first map. Basement to go for Rock LFO as the timeout expires. Look, it's not impossible. 5 defensive rounds straight. Certainly doable if you just kind of lock in. But where this game, and I guess this series has kind of been won and lost a little bit, guys, is definitely the opening kills. So we played 14 rounds for a 12-2 opening kill conversion. That is significant. So back on Cafe, you know, of the 7 rounds played, 6 of those opening kills went the way of Rock LFO. Only 1 opening kill for 6 targets, which they didn't convert. And then here on Consulate, it flips the other way around, where for Rock LFO, they've only had the 2 opening kills and only converted on 1 of them. The rest have gone the way of 6 targets. Like getting those early advantages, just giving you the ability to kind of have those mid-round scraps where you're throwing bodies at each other, but you've always got that 1 extra one in the back pocket, clearly has been a determining factor in the series. For Sheen, that's not ideal. And he's now forced back, already half health.
Loyal off the sole defender on this top floor position. Under pressure, and the upside down rappel from Orion is a success. Good return to form for Orion, who struggled a little bit alongside the majority of his team back on Cafe, but 8-4 here on Consulate. He's been impactful. He's had some really good moments. And that's his second entry kill for the map, bringing the total for the team up to 6 at this point in time of the 8. So that's impressive for 6 targets. ACOG over towards Expo alongside Syro. It's a 2-2 split here between the floors. Although Syro is investigating a potential flank opportunity here into the gridlock. That may be tricky, but perhaps he can find a timing.
ACOG showing some patience, but just not getting rewarded. No one walking into him. Snow will just sit spiral and pretty much the same kind of playstyle and may get rewarded and will. Kybernix probably not anticipating that angle, that position to be held. Brings it back to the 4-on-4. Drop down from Nico into server on the Solid Snake. Sees that it's relatively open. Allows then 6 targets to push forward. Take space. And his back hit now looks rather strong. Bomb as well for good measure. Smokes to go out, and Zethi will get active on the glass and finds the pick on the machine. Immediate elimination. Regains the advantage now for 6 targets. Snow from bot spiral could be the difference. Syro, though, he's gone hunting as well. Immediate trade from Orion keeps them still with the numbers. Snow, his presence now known bottom of spiral, so they know there's only potentially one in sight. It's ACOG. He's above. Now they've got info on both of them. Down to Density and Nico in the last 6 seconds of the round. Snow playing this perfectly, just sitting back, waiting. Plant going inside a cafeteria. ACOG, has he got the ability to deny? No. Drop down. A little pinch. Nico losing that battle. Leaves Density now in another clutch position. Doesn't get the kill. Probably thought he almost did.
Wow, okay. Gets pinched from behind, and ultimately that's job done. Good work from ACOG up above initially, and then dropped down to find the kill onto Nico. And at that point, No, we flicked away from him, understandably so. I guess it looked like he was about to lose that fight, but with 2 attackers looking at him in the post, he was able to win out that little duel. And they stay alive for a little while longer. The pivot there from 6TARGETS and the spearhead from Nico on the snake was actually quite good in that round. I like the game plan that they were to quickly employ. They knew that kitchen was safe. They could go for the plant, but it was a difficult position to then get out of. And Rock LFO did a good job to fight back.
Well, they keep themselves alive a little bit longer. A scrappy one, but 6-2 out of the timeout. Result for Rock LFO goes their way. They had to really work for it and really fight for it. 6TARGETS with that backside hit. Actually got some really good space off the radar from the snake. Nico just continue with the good vibes. You win this next round though for Rock LFO. Suddenly then it's only 3 more rounds required. Looks a little bit more reachable. Looks a little bit more
10
likely.
seconds left before insertion. 5 seconds remaining.
Ibedix will now take the role of the solid snake, which definitely has had a lot of influence so far here on Consulate. Machine goes on to the clash. We go first floor, Expo, Piano for the 9th round.
The hard breach already getting to work here from Orion. And drones to follow to start pressuring onto the likes of ACOG. It's a big, heavy vert hold here from the defense, and 6TARGETS, understandably so, are looking to contest and flush this out. Clay as well on the snake this round, and I anticipate him to be pretty influential in terms of either assisting on the top floor clear, or he can instead lurk maybe bottom up and then find a pocket of space in the side, or try and force the defense back somewhere else. There's a repel position from him though early, and can get a foothold inside of Copy. Seems like they're pretty committed to clearing out this top floor. Oh, sharp shot. That's the Goyo down. Big emphasis now on Machine finding good position on the clash, and then the defense being able to play around that. There we go.
1 for 1. Definitely can see the fact that Rock LFO look far more comfortable in the defense than they did on the attack. Syro, though, take it very low over towards CO. And that's forced Machine all the way outside. A wonderful little play to follow up from Machine. Creates the space, gave them the opportunity. Now it looks for the next target, which is Density. Nico close by as well, over towards Long Desk. Yeah, all they're shooting into is the clash. Nico finds a kill onto Syro.
Not a bad little pre-fire. Keeps things maybe winnable now. Nico, Density, 2 versus 3, and it's a rotation down below. But again, there's so much vert in play here. I don't quite know how they'll be able to make this work.
30 seconds left into the round as Rock LFO looking to just stay alive here on Consulate. ACOG up to 10 and 6 now. Nico just nothing really he could do against the clash. And this one is going to stay around a little longer in terms of this map. Density's great and he's got a good clutch gene about him. But 9 seconds, no kit. Clash, shield still up. Does eventually get the kill on Machine. Not winning this one. So more rounds needed on Consulate after the 6-1 start. 2 in a row to Rock LFO. They bring it back to 6-3. 3 more rounds needed and enters the realm of possibility.
Yeah. It's also the tertiary ticked off as well. Okay. Makes things a little more intriguing now in this series. But for 6TARGETS, the expectation will be attacking back into top floor where they were able to win out on that first attempt. They got the opening kill in that attempt. And in fact, they've actually established a very long streak now, 6 straight of opening kills. So they seemingly are putting themselves in good positions, but at least in the last couple of rounds, they haven't quite been able to convert that through the mid-round. I mentioned that Rock LFO had to try and activate Machine on the Clash, and while they took that really to the extreme, it actually worked out really nicely to find those 2 picks back very, very quickly. Then Machine was able to play anchor work on site itself. And so he definitely deserves credit there, whether or not he was the one calling that or not. He was doing a good job to keep that utility alive, and then his team playing off that really, really efficiently. So it's slowly developing into a position where Rock LFO can push towards OT. We're still a distance away from that, though. Let's see how top floor plays out this time around.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds to insertion.
What's interesting as well is the opening kills haven't really changed, guys, either. 9 rounds played, still 7-2 split in favor of 6 targets. The last 2 rounds, Orion, Kyvanix, both getting the early picks. But Rock LFO finding better ways to stabilize. So the last thing for them to really now switch in favor is, can they get a little aggressive on the defense, find the early advantages, really then put 6 targets under the pump. And the Clash ban is going to certainly be influential. We only saw it the 1 round, but it had so much influence, so it just isn't going to be available now. Admin across is clearly going to be the goal for 6 targets, though. No CO shenanigans.
Yeah. Means that ACOG is going to have to be versatile in this round to show that he is able to get the Shamika launcher shots to land in towards that admin side default plant position. And with smoke banned out, there's an increasing reliance on him to do his job efficiently. Of course, there is the backup, though, the Goya, which may have been placed there. You've also got the Echo for planting up potential as well here. Already probing site, though, 6 targets. Oh, Orion goes deep with Kit.
Yeah, very aggressive. And thinking about the plant, and we'll go for it. They got the opening kill once again. Is there denial? You do have the Echo, but the Yokais are just not in the right place. A little too slow to react for Rock LFO. The pacing of 6 targets catching them off guard. Ryan got plant down, but it did cost him his life. And then 2 more fall quickly in the post plant. 6 targets may have been able to rush in, get plant down, and had the opening kill. But they end up in a 2 versus 4, making a 1v4. The retake from Rock LFO has been perfect. Clean.
Wow.
Didn't lose a single player in the post plant retake for Rock LFO. They bring it back to 6-4.
Yeah, they've done a good job to wrangle that one back. The plant was on cam. The BBC was watched. They knew where it was going down, and while they may not have gotten the Yokai in a position to physically deny that plan, I think the amount of information that they still had on offer in the post, which wasn't cleared by a pretty hasty attack there from 6 targets, proved to be quite costly, and Rock LFO able to convert off that information very, very nicely. And so scoreline, it's now 6-4, and the only side of which 6T have won on attack has gone astray, being that top floor selection. So it's quite quickly now actually developing into a position where 6 targets are under a bit of pressure, and their ability now to close out the map is very much in question.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb. 10 seconds to go.
Well, surprise, surprise. 3 rounds straight for Rock LFO.
5 seconds left.
It's been incredibly defender-sided. Only 2 attacking rounds have been acquired in this map. 1 apiece. But it's 7 consecutive opening kills for 6 targets. They've now failed to convert, though, in the previous 3 rounds. So, like, this comeback for Rock LFO, the opening rounds haven't really changed. It's still 6 targets that are getting these early picks and doing so on the attack, just as they did on the defense. Which is a real big testament then for Rock LFO stringing together these last 3 rounds the way that they have. And you start to then imagine what will happen if Rock LFO get, you know, a 5v3 or a 5v4 advantage early on. Will that be too much for 6TARGETS to overcome? Nico once again back onto the solid snake. Machine with a chance. And there it is. Their first opening kills since Machine got it back in the 3rd round. And Nico goes down as well. Logic Bomb may ring out from Density, but there's not much they're going to be able to really do with it. 6-5 is looking very likely.
Yeah, very. Feels like it's developed so quickly. Rock LFO looking really, really solid here on defense, and I don't know if 6TARGETS have had that clutch ability about them on attack from what we've seen so far. It's a 3v5, minute 40, little in the way of control. Maybe if Orion can get an opening here onto Snow, but even this is a very unfavorable fight. Oh, Snow might maybe giving away his position, but no, still wins the fight.
Clean.
Diffuser down as well. This round's over.
Yeah. Whoa. Diffuse is irrelevant when there's still a minute 20 on the clock. If they can find a kill each here, Zethi and Density, bring it back to a 2v2. Ooh, little trade. That's not going to be enough, though. Yeah, when you're in a 2v4, the one-for-one trade.
Had to be clean.
Yeah, had to be clean. 1v3 now for Zethi. He's got a minute on the Deimos. And it's less about Zethi in these kind of scenarios and more about what the other 3 defenders are doing, how they're playing off each other, what positions and angles they're holding. It's pretty simple. You did never want to give him a 1v1. Play together, hold tight angles, have the swing and trade potential for every single player. Don't worry about the kit. You don't have to play it. Don't go hunting. Zethi's got it all to do, and it's only got 40 seconds. And Siege is a very difficult game to sort of run around with 30 seconds left. Just too many angles, too many vulnerabilities. Default gets shot out, but he's positioned towards bot spiral, now known. When ACOG plays over towards Piano, but Stone Syro will play basement together. And this is just a classic case of, well, Zethi goes hunting, doesn't really find anything, doesn't even care about the kit, and now just is forced into the sprint. Does get one onto Syro, but not enough time left into the round. Had there still been about 20-30 seconds left at this point, it certainly would have been more possible, but no time remaining for Zethi. Snow gets the kill, and ever since that tactical timeout, 6-1 down, call attack, they've now been able to win 4 rounds straight, 1 more needed to force overtime. And you get the feeling that if it gets to OT, that 6TARGETS will know that they're on the ropes.
Yeah, it's culminating at the moment. It's building up to that eventuality. The pressure has really mounted now against 6TARGETS. It's the split site of choice, though, here for the final round of regulation. So Rock LFO taking a, I suppose, calculated risk here. Final round, potentially here, if they are to go astray, but they back themselves in. We'll see how this eventuates. I'm trying to throw 6TARGETS off here. I do wonder in terms of what the game plan is going to be for them here. They've been in the castle, so expecting a pretty heavy extension, probably some control up above with the Denari as well in aid, and I love the inclusion of the Pulse as well. Very, very traditional operator for this style of site, going as far back as to the original map, where you can get so much information. And it's going to aid with the double nitro lineup here that the defense has.
How many times, though, have we seen these comebacks fall short and ends up being a 7-5? That's going to be in the back of the minds for 6TARGETS here. Doesn't matter what Rock LFO have been doing for the last 4 rounds. We just win this one, and map is done. We go Clubhouse. ACOG has really locked in, though. 12 and 6, 5 assists as well. 2 counter diffusers. He's got a multi-kill for a 137 EPS. He's been the best player in the server. Both teams, clearly. Rock LFO will know, though. Just hold your composure. Play the right positions. Force them into us, and they will very likely falter. Don't have to do too much. It's been a very defender-sided consulate. Nico finds the opening kill, and it is onto ACOG, and that could have huge ramifications. The top gunner is down for Rock LFO. Another opening kill for 6 targets. The good news for Rock, they've typically been able to deal with being a player down. But ACOG's always been a big factor in that.
Yeah, ACOG was isolated from the rest of the team, and whilst he's been really good, the risk here in this particular round is he goes untraded, and it's now mounting pressure against the rest of this defense. 6T have taken a lot of ground on the opposing side of the map. They're pressuring horizontally, both down below and above, and they've got good info as well. Oh, traded. Minute 10. 6 targets still in an advantageous position. Kai may be able to be brought back up as well, and if he is, it's a 5 versus 3, and they look like they're in a strong position to close out this map.
Yeah, looking in a very good position. Machine on the pulse with a Nitro inside server. Can he be a difference factor? Snow can get info as well. Loyalist goes down. Well, this is just the classic old case of a fake comeback. 6-1 down to bring it back to 6-5. And it all comes undone. And this is why you do not want to give up these hefty leads. One back for Snow. Machine has kept himself pretty well hidden and hits the shot onto Kybanix. But now getting shot in the back. Machine didn't know where those initial shots were coming from. Snow in a 1v3. Clubhouse now very much on the cards. 20 seconds for 6 targets. They don't have the kid at the moment.
Solace. He can read the plant from above.
He certainly can. He's just got to find out where it is.
There we go.
And he finally has been able to find it. Will he be able to deny in time? He will not. Shots don't land. There wasn't enough bullets in the SMG. And we are done here on Consulate. All 3 maps required in this lower bracket elimination series.
.26 is starting on a very high note. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan for FPS Day X. We've got the APAC Cup, the 1v1 nows, and of course the grand finals of the Tier 2 North Rebellion, plus stacks of community awards and fashion shows. The Japanese crowd have been unbelievable.
This event as a whole, the location, the people, everyone's been super nice. The food, of course, here in Japan, absolutely amazing. Great to be back for a second time, and yeah, hopefully can make it a third at some point. We really need a major back in Japan, so hopefully we can get that at some point in time.
It's been an absolute privilege to be a part of this event, and certainly can't wait to do more of it in the future.
The view here is absolutely insane here in this amazing tower. We just wrapped up the Rebellion Grand Final, the Tier 2 event here for APAC North. Absolutely banging Grand Final. We were actually, Jake and I, really surprised at the quality of Siege on offer, and very excited to get ready for the Grand Final, which again should be really, really good and highlight some quality APAC Siege. Of course, yesterday, Jake and I casted a really big upset, Soul's Heart taking down Fear X. Didn't anticipate them to win that match, and they got it done in 2, which was really awesome to see from their perspective.
The Japanese crowd have been unreal. I can't wait to see if CAG can deliver for the Japanese fans against Soul's Heart in our APAC Cup Grand Final.
Trust the bomb set, they just keep doing it. I9 for a double, and now it's out of blue. And it's time to send it deep for I9. All the timing. Straight into the bomb site. He takes a few tattered bullets from Moto. Kali trying to be the hero for CAG when his team needs him. But Didi is the last one standing. And a flawless round is one hell of a way to do it. 3 years since their last appearance on an international stage. and Souls Hard are champions here in APAC. He gets it just in time! It is APAC Norman!
They are the best that this region has got to offer.
Alrighty, so let's get back underway with this series. 6 targets have pushed us to Clubhouse, and Nico certainly had a great time as we go through his reactions. Cuz, yeah, a lot of emotions for Nico in this series.
Roller coaster ride for him and the team. They're on coin slip, but 6 targets were able to get the job done just in regulation. They did stave off the 4-round streak that Rock LFO were able to establish, rounds 8 through 11 in that second half on defense, but they're finally able to crack that split side on attack and get the job done. So both teams have stilled the others' map selection, and so this best of 3 is well primed for Clubhouse, which is, at least in my opinion, probably one of the best tests in the pool as to who's better on the day. And yeah, it's been a bit of an up and down series so far, but such is the nature of this kind of matchup. And yeah, hopefully Clubhouse is another close encounter.
It's yeah, fitting that we do go to the OCE house in Clubhouse to settle this one. 2 teams that, yeah, I mean, I guess now as we head into Clubhouse, the first map all is forgiven. If you 6 targets, you were 6-1 up on Consulate. Yes, Rock LFO got on a bit of a roll, but you closed it out and everything gets reset. Now it's irrelevant. The first 2 maps to be completely forgotten in all facets, the good and the bad. We head to the third and final map, a single map to determine the fate of these 2 teams here for kickoff in Oceania. Winner will play again later today against Anios. Losers, their time is done.
Rock LFO will be starting on defense. How much influence may that have on the series and their perhaps ability to gain a lead and some confidence heading into the second half, as attack has proven to be a challenge so far. I don't really think the needle's going to change all too much on Clubhouse. It might. It kind of depends. Clubhouse actually can be quite an open map for the attack, with the exception of basement. Kind of just depends largely on how the teams want to play first and foremost, but then also the bans and what actually gets taken out of play. Given all the hard breaches up, maybe it will be a little bit more open for attack. It is the Kaid Mirror off the board for defense, and then on the side of attack, it's the Grim and Glaz benched.
Which way are you leaning though, guys? The 7-0 Cafe, does that instill the confidence in Rock LFO, considering they also brought back Consulate, or the reinvigoration of 6 targets, 6-1 lead, what they were able to do? Which way are you kind of leaning, or is it still just kind of on the fence now?
Oh, yeah, it's really tough to say. Again, given neither of these teams have shown anything as well on Clubhouse throughout kickoff, it's kind of difficult to have a read as to where they're at on this specific map. Of course, one that really tests fundamentals. Oh, it's a tricky prediction. I think I'm leaning still a little bit more towards Rock LFO. If ACOG and Machine in particular can be super impactful, we've seen that over the course of the series, and of course Loyalith and Co can get on the action as well. I think they might have a little bit more depth on offer, but that's not to discount some of the impacts plays we've seen and the skill on the side of 6 targets, right? I mean, Kai's been super influential in several rounds. They've got the clutch factor of density. They've got the vibes from Nico and the depth and experience that he can offer as well. So both teams have, you know, a lot of pros on their side heading into a map such as Clubhouse. So difficult read. I think for Rock LFO, though, on defense, we need to see them stack rounds here. Basement is a critical way to get things kicked off here. It's going to be a must-win site in this series. There's really no excuse for defense to not win out on basement.
Well, the first 2 maps saw runaway leads. Obviously on the second, it was the clawback by Rock LFO, but falling short at the end of regulation. Clubhouse can typically and usually play a little bit more back and forth. Loyalist creep down red stairs in towards lounge and looking to take the fight against Orion inside stock, but just thinks better of it. Just surveying the area, trying to scout out and get as much information as possible without an overinvest in a fight. They do have Snow up in Logi and Machine around main stairs. So it's not as if Rock LFO are just kind of sitting back doing nothing right now. They're getting an aggressive double kill from Machine. The run out kitchen to get rid of Kyvanix towards Dirt was wonderful. He does lose his life, but getting kills of the round. That's job done. That is a successful start from Machine and Rock LFO on the defense.
Absolutely. Drop the Habana as well and the Capital. I would argue the two best operators for a basement here. They can be so impactful, opening hatches, letting you till for the execute. That's a big play, but maybe it won't matter. 6TARGETS have been able to at least bring it back to a 3 versus 3 with Loyalist getting caught over towards blue with bad timing. And so Rock LFO now looking to consolidate site over towards basement. 6TARGETS trying to prep for this potential plant. Still 3 exothermics and the secondaries available here in terms of hard breach for the attack. Double impact for Cyro though, but he's over towards Church, so that won't be denied. I do fear though, in terms of the util layering for attack, it may be lacking a little bit. Just double flash, no smokes. That makes it quite tough for the job. And also 3 gas babes available for ACOG, and he'll start layering those soon.
And not a lot of time left either, 20 seconds. And as you mentioned, the gas space for ACOG, still 2 left, so he can kind of smoke out the rest of this round. Pops the Vulcan canister, like they're at that point now for Rock LFO when they know time, the biggest crunching factor. Nico walked through the flames. That meant he was low. Orion just sitting inside of the gas babe. They're trying to brute force their way, and it's not going to work. Rock LFO will take the opening round here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, good groundwork established by Machine, and then ACOG, the anchor work on site was good. I think if 6TARGETS have their time again, they maybe would have sent the Dirt Lurk in a little earlier, and then you have to take the small chance of winning that fight. If you do, it opens it up massively, because not only do you not have to worry about the anchor position, but also the util layering of the smoke canisters that were making the job and the plant essentially impossible. So of course, would have been a very low percentage fight against that Dirt player, but probably would have had to have been taken earlier in that sequence of events, but not to be. And Rock LFO doing a good job to stabilize that round and not letting that opportunity slip. As I said before, and I stand by it, I think that basement here for defense is absolutely must win. If you start leaking rounds on that site, it really does compromise the rest of your rotation.
Position secured.
Razor wire ready.
Early days, you win out basement, job done. The real work now begins though for Rock LFO on the defense. It's going to be gym bedroom and couch and CCTV. These are going to be the sites that you need to be winning just as much as basement. Basement's the one you can't afford to lose. Nico, what a swift entry though in through garage to catch out Loyalist. And then hits the second shot onto Cyro as well, re-peeking to see if he can get the trade. Nico switched on at the start of the second round.
Love a good Nico send. Again, he's been a little quiet on the scoreboard, but he just has those flashes of brilliance of time that can be a difference maker. Showing that proactivity on attack, really nice. Because they're still not job done yet. Such is the nature of Clubhouse. It can be difficult still to break down the remaining layers of this defense, and so they'll need to be methodical from here. Fortunately, with such little time and util investment from Nico, is so snappy and so clean that they now have so much to work with here in the late round. They can gain information, they can dump this utility, they've still got the final exothermic, which has also been effective from Orion. So they've been able to open the entire cache site across, and Con as well. Rock LFO, triple stack second floor, no flank potential. Machine will fall in Logi.
I mean, I think Nico getting the opening 2 kills of the round really set the rest in motion. You got the extra numbers. You've opened up a lot of space. Put so much pressure onto the remaining defenders in sight, and then you kind of get this sort of result. ACOG low in health as well. The shot in the back, it's clean. It's flawless from 6 targets. They take Jim Bedroom with ease. It's all off the back of that double kill entry from Nico over towards Garage, and 6 targets will get themselves an early attacking round.
Yeah, I think he still can't quite believe he was able to pull that off, but sometimes that can be the name of the game on a map like Club, where you can catch your opposition off guard by going for those hyper-aggressive plays. It's very unlikely that the Rafters player, if he doesn't react quickly enough, is ever going to be looking in that general direction. So to find the first is great, and then to compound it quickly onto the second over towards Cash was, yeah, well executed there by Nico. Wasn't a particularly high-risk sort of play either. Again, I think it was actually well calculated. And so just keeping this Rock LFO defense honest. Back to Bedroom for round number 3. And Rock LFO, no doubt, will be wanting to tidy up that map extension across. They need to make it more challenging to flush out CCTV, cache, etc. Not offer those opportunities for swift entry. 6 targets, they may not even necessarily fully commit to the map clear this time of round. I think that, again, especially with the versatility that Thermite on offer these days with the triple XO, there's also the strong possibility that they can go for a more Jacuzzi Logi drop-centric kind of hit later anyway.
Nico thinking about another rush in through Garage. Probably not to be, and certainly with Machine on the Clash now, not going to be as easy to have the same success. And third and final map of a series is when the pressure really mounts as well, but you just haven't seen that on Nico's face. He's just kept it cool, calm the whole time, and he's got a lovely live drone as well onto Snow inside the gym. Frag grenade does not quite make it over to Snow. Snow eventually finished off though by Kybernix. They expected potentially a peek over from that CC window. Syro didn't overinvest. Now they've been a kill for 6 targets though, and so far their attacks on Clubhouse are looking pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They're getting good information and being able to relay that. Jacuzzi opened in the meantime, and so that will catch the attention of Machine. Can they link up this attack with Nico? Maybe, sorry, no, Kai. It's over towards Central Stairs. Does the Clash get caught? Yes. Eventually, 3 versus 1. This is really nice.
And to take a 2-1 lead on Clubhouse attack, this is a great start for 6 targets. You have to wonder, how did Cafe go the way that it did? I mean, admittedly, there were a lot of clutch rounds that went the way of Rock LFO, but still 7-0, and then into Consulate win and starting really well on Clubhouse. ACOG try as he might, now in a post-plant situation where you've got to clear out the balcony position. It's not going to be possible. Can't even get through the first target in Orion. 6 targets, 2-1 up. Early days on Club, but so far good signs for them. And for Rock LFO, they need to lock in quickly.
Yeah, disappointing as well when you return to a site and sure able to correct maybe some of the mistakes from last time out, but the resilience from 6 targets as well was able to shine through. They did find more entry and pressure over towards that Jacuzzi side. The Clash was left on a bit of an island, didn't receive much support. It's a good little pinch there from 6 targets. And the information, but even before that, that they were gathering on side and pressuring from the exterior of the map as well was also pretty phenomenal. So 6 targets, looking like the better of the 2 so far. And a real tester now for Rock LFO, who might be able to find a bit of stabilization here basement. If I tell you what though, 6 targets are able to win this side, it really will open things up.
And this feels like the critical one, doesn't it? As you kind of said at the start, you know, prior to the opening round, you've got to be winning basement on Clubhouse defense. And so far, that's all they've been able to win.
5 seconds left.
Means for 6 targets, this is the free punch now. You're 2-1 up. You go back to basement. And you know full well if you win this, 3 attacking rounds, and Rock LFO are pretty much on the ropes at that point. 3 attacking rounds on club is just good in general. A 3-3.5 would be a win for 6 targets. Haycock this time is going to be the one that will play the clash. He's easily been the best player for Rock LFO in the series. Oh, caught at the window. Density, I don't think was prepared for Cyro to be quite literally standing right at the frame. Opening kill for Rock LFO. That's a good start. Nico wants to go hunting in response and wasn't expecting Cyro close right. That's going to be the round. That's a freebie from Cyro.
Yeah. Yeah, basement, it's proving again to be very, very difficult to not only worry about breaking down the site itself, but even dealing with the off-site aggression here of Rock LFO. And I mean, that's positive signs for them. Able to confidently convert what will no doubt be the strongest site for defense here on club. Good positioning off-site, just...
Swapping mags.
I mean, that right mixture of aggression and composing themselves nicely. So much time here for the remaining members of 6 targets to work with, but it's very low percentage from this point. And they've still failed to fully deal with the roam, Loyalist bar, Cyro on screen now, lounge, Snow as well, lurking around this first floor. Take hog elsewhere to find one. Zephy will sit outside for the late trade. And there's a minute now on the clock where 6 targets can milk the clock if they so wish.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be too upset considering it was basement, but probably upset in the way they lost the round. Like, sorry, just being able to get 3 kills over towards Secret Lounge. Zethy maybe sensing a chance to play off of this yellow ping and can't win that battle. Loyalith hears him coming through, immediately turns around. So 2-2, but it's just the basement round win so far for Rock LFO. They know now full well for the remainder of this half, they need to do it outside basement as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all well and good to win basement, but the benchmark will be that both teams win out basement, so you need to find that point of difference. You need to be able to win at least one of these additional sites to try and give yourself some kind of platform to then play off, at least to convert in regulation. Replay package of that prior round. It was basically just a mow down there on the first floor, courtesy of the defense. And so for 6 targets, it's about relocking back in. As you said, they're not going to be too worried, I don't think, about losing out on basement. They can now direct their efforts over towards CC and Cash, which we are yet to see play out, I believe, with the double selections of both basement and bedroom so far.
10 seconds to insertion.
Deploying laser wire. New feed active.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, first time seeing Cash and CCTV. Still at a 2-2 scoreline round 5. This is the most intriguing part, because if Rock LFO can get to a 4-2 half, puts them back into a really solid position even after giving up 2 early attacking rounds. These are the circuit breaker kind of rounds where big moments can have big ramifications. And the winner of this will play later tonight against Anios. A long day ahead, especially considering this is a 3 mapper. The focus right now is all here on club.
Machine took a chunk of damage there over towards bedroom, so pretty aggressive on the extension horizontally here for the defense. May look to actually progress forward here. Oh, he considers it for a moment. It's double logi stack from the attack. Who can hold their nerve? Loyalist also main stairs. It's pretty high risk at the moment from both teams.
Reloading.
It's Density that gets the opening kill onto Machine. play the window. 90 seconds. You've got the extra player advantage now. Machine started so hot back on Cafe has just cooled off a little bit as the series well and truly has progressed, which has meant ACOG's been the main man for Rock LFO. Ryan on the flip side started really cold and certainly now making an impact here on Clubhouse. More drones to be sent in for more information. Kyvanix playing at the bridge, air jab to go out. They know full well that ACOG is over towards Rafters. Nico also may be thinking about a potential pinch. And ACOG will go down. Kyvanix doesn't need the help from Nico or anyone else. He gets finished off by the shock drone of Density. And a 2-player advantage heading into the site execution point of the round.
Oh, Cyrus steps up though. The clash is posing problems, but it's traded by Nico. 2v4. 6 targets in the advantageous position. Flank.
Loyal gets 1. Probably might feel as if he should have been able to get 2, but funnily enough, now playing behind the clutch shield is the attacking team. Snow battling towards top red. Hits the shot onto Kyvanix. 10 seconds, and now the pressure falls back to 6 targets because they're still going to get the kill onto the ground. Snow knows he can kind of fall back, force them to push into him. 5 seconds left. Lilith inside a cache. Density going with the plate inside a CCTV. Easy kill onto Nico. Density hasn't got the time. Oh, the air jab maybe does give him the moment. Never mind. Pistol from Loyalith connects. Huge round win for Rock LFO. They were susceptible there in cache and CCTV.
Oh, that was one of the messier end rounds we've seen so far. The attack there of 6 targets, finding it so difficult there to identify and actually execute upon the win condition that they wanted there. I think obviously the flank made things a challenge. They were tossing up. Do we plant? Do we go for kill? Eventually, very late, they go for the plant option. Right around here, Loyal posing problems. Density with the diffuser doesn't go initially for the plant. Then Nico gets caught out. As Loyal had already pushed forward. Air jab, arguably they're saving his life as Density shoots above him. If he finds that first kill, the 1v1 actually probably favoring him there with the DMR in hand, but that was a very real opportunity for 6 targets that I think they'll be quite disappointed they weren't able to convert.
Well, another big round, though, still to be had due to those early attacking rounds gained by 6 targets. Still one more, puts it at that 3-3 half. They get to then go defense in the second half.
5 seconds to go.
A critical 6th round for both of these two teams. Rock LFO just trying to break even, get to that 4th defensive round. Set themselves up to have a buffer going into the second half on the attack. Been a very competitive Clubhouse, though, as expected. And a fascinating series. Oh, what an angle from Kyvanix. Peppered it the first time, then kind of doubled back. Sorry, they're in a good position to get the trade. So 1-for-1, immediate trade. But the Ash getting rid of the tuber out, I imagine, is happier days for the attacking team. And a chance at the breach. Cyro does get down. Good spray control from Nico. And 6 targets again with another player advantage, but it didn't help them in the previous round.
No, it didn't. And the clash is still standing as well as Army. Triple Kiba in pocket for Snow. If he can deploy this utility as well, he might be able to at least force out some of the explosives here from the attack. Still holding firm over towards this cache side at the moment. I think slowly we're going to see them filter back though and rotate. Machine looking for information. Spots Nico. He has the diffuser in hand. But yeah, he's rotating out. Machine probably has relayed that across as well. And it probably ends up being a jacuzzi into gym finish here for 6 targets.
I'm reloading.
LFO just going to try and bunker down now and trust the process with the Clash and the Azamis that they can provide enough defensive capabilities. ACOG will probably play the more aggressive role on the Thorn when it comes down to the execute.
Keep us secured.
Snow's doing a decent job considering it's a 4v3 to still have had construction locked down for as long as he did. Now opts to give it up, and the time has been a concern for 6TARGETS. A couple of rounds here on Clubhouse may be again. You got the extra player, but 40 seconds as it starts to dwindle down. I'd like to see them find a way to start the execution phase around now, rather than in 10 seconds time. It's 30 seconds now. Like, they've got to pick it up. And Snow finds an angle onto Zethi. It's falling apart for 6TARGETS here.
Yeah, it feels like such an important round to win. 20 seconds. It's a con stack from the attack. Time ticking.
They've left this too late. Now you have to rush into sight. Lovely clear though from Density. Almost getting the kill onto ACOG towards Logi as well, but he falls, and now down to Nico. 3 seconds. There's no backup plan. There's no time to go for a res. There's no time to change strategy. That's it. It's 4-2. Rock LFO hold strong, down a player for the vast majority of that round. And they win 3 rounds straight to take a 2-round lead heading into the half. Well, I don't know what that halftime vibe music was, but it certainly doesn't match the intensity of what this series is offering, guys, as we enter the second half of the final map. It's a do-or-die elimination game that's going right down to the wire. 6TARGETS now go defense. They could only get the 2 attacking rounds, and they got those early on inside the first 3 rounds and just couldn't get another, which puts Rock LFO in a better position. They go into the attack, yes, but they got a little buffer in terms of the scoreboard.
Yeah, certainly. It does feel, though, that the failure to win in it and maybe that additional attack could prove pretty costly. Just the time management on a couple of these occasions could end up ultimately proving quite costly. Credit to Rock LFO, they're able to stabilize. It started to look really good, I think, for 6T when they won rounds 2, 3, the double reattempt over towards Gym Bedroom. And it very much seemed like it was guiding towards an outcome where Rock LFO were only going to be able to win out basement, and that would have been a pretty precarious position to find themselves in, but that was not the case. They were able to correct course with the lead heading into the second half. It makes things very intriguing in the context of this series. We'll see if Rock LFO have the same expected woes, though, here on basement. The opening site choice, as expected, for 6 targets. The bans for this second half: Grim, Snake, Kaid, and Bandit.
Don't forget, directly after this, we go back to the upper bracket. Man, Esports versus Shot Academy. I wonder if that will play Enterprise next week in an upper final. And Anios awaiting the winner of these two. Get the feeling this will be a pretty much 5-stack from 6 targets. Zethi and Kaiminix want to try and play some kind of room. I mean, the fact that Zethi's over towards pool. Yes, Kaiminix is main stairs, but this is a pretty common position to be. Might give this one peek attempt and then we'll look to fall back down. He swings out of the corridor, and that is a very ambitious play. Zethi, though, immediately there for the trade as the cover, but he too takes some damage. Now, Legion for Ying. Loss of the Ying, certainly not ideal for the late round execution, but he also will no longer be generating these goo mines. Speaking of, stepped on by Loyalith.
Yeah, that may actually favor the attack slightly in the sense that now ACOG may have more freedom on the blitz. Although definitely not optimal losing the Ying. I think on the balance of everything, it probably is still slightly in favor of 6 targets, but it's pretty minimal.
Reload.
Elsewhere, Loyalith down. The attack not being given much of an opportunity to kind of prime themselves for this push. 6 targets continue to layer pressure and make it a very awkward attack.
He is back up. We'll get to work with the skeleton key to further open up these floorboards. I mean, still 2 big pieces of the puzzle for Rock LFO. Up the blitz for the late round entry, the Capital for the utility as well that can be layered. The frag grenades of Snow. Nico just took a big chunk of damage. Would imagine that was from Loyalith inside a kitchen. Gets him just below half health. Concern for me, though, is again the time, and we saw this back in the first half. Just a lot of late round executes for 6 targets. Left them little room on the attack with time. ACOG wants to push through blue. 20 seconds. Again, we're going to get down to a late round execute. And Snow, though, at least opens up with the kill over towards blue. Machine does fall, so does Density. Still the player advantage with Rock LFO. And Nico Zethi low on health as well. Same with Loyalith and ACOG. Pistol's good enough, though, from ACOG. Only Nico left. Got to go and grab that kit, though, for Snow. Very winnable right now for Nico, but then beaten out by Snow. He grabs the kit, gets the kill, and the Padawan shuts down the Master.
Yeah, I got a little nervous there with so little time on the clock, and then the Razor Bloom landing. But able to make it work, and that is a big round for the attack to win out. Very impressive that they've been able to get that result across the line, and very disappointing for 6 targets who were disruptive on defense and did a good job at maintaining quite a bit of pressure over the course of that round. But Rock LFO were able to get it done. It prompts the reattempt here, which is understandable given how strongly defenders sided this side. It really should be. But my word, that is a significant round win. That could well be the ultimate difference maker in this series. Rock LFO have done a phenomenal job there.
Spoke about in the first half, you've got to be winning basement defense, and well, as you said, that could be a difference maker now. Rock LFO in the first round of the second half, straight away on the attack, take out basement, 3-round differential, a nice buffer. It's a repeat attempt from 6 targets. It kind of has to be at this point. You lose it again, you may as well then probably hang your heads a little bit at 6-2 down. It's going to be a long way back. Must win for 6 targets. For all intents and purposes, tournament on the line here in this 8th round. And Loyalith finds an incredibly early kill onto Kaiminix. There's a second time now that Kaiminix has died on basement early on. This is even earlier, though. That's a swift entry from Loyalith. To be fair, probably catching Kai off guard in comparison to the previous round, guys, where he opted for the main stairs pressure. There's something, the pressure was brought to him, but with double shield and an extra player, this basement side is no longer a fortified defensive side. I mean, it's vulnerable now.
Yeah, absolutely. Zephy has gone aggressive though. Second floor. So there's flank potential on offer here. All 5 members up. No one sitting drones. Logic Bomb not raining out. So his position should be pretty well masked. And there's a big reliance on Zephy now to find probably at least 2 picks. Just has to find the right window, the right timing here. Not leave it too late. Obviously not go too early and then get caught. Asking quite a bit of Zephy here. 6 targets. It feels like their best win condition now at this point is that flank.
Oh, the logic bomb doesn't help. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help. That's a well-timed logic bomb from Loyalith. Forced Zephy down and into the fight. Jeez. A bit rough in the chat for poor old Zephy, but you know what? He gives it just as much as he takes it. And now, a minute left. Need this kill here from Nico. DMR does connect onto Snow, gets him to half. But now sees the Monty has dropped down into sight. Loyalith, another logic bomb will ring out, push down main stairs. Rock LFO have got the numbers and they're going for the plant. Density has been downed as well. It's all falling apart for 6 targets. Ooh, Machine does get downed though, and that will be a good denial. This is still a round that is alive, but Nico and Orion need to hit their shots.
Finished. Good dislodge. Orion 1v3.
Plant now going down from Loyalith. Orion, you've got to get on the move. And he just cannot find anything here from this position in blue. Into Arsenal. Machine will get finished off. Playing behind the deployable shield is ACOG. He's got his own shield. And it's ACOG that then holds the angle and gets them to match and series point. 6-2 here on Clubhouse.
Wow, I did not expect it to play out like this. Double back-to-back attacking round wins and on basement. It's been devastating for 6 targets. It's the site that is a must-win, and to lose it twice back-to-back has really got to hurt. And I think Nico's face probably tells the storyline here for 6 targets, that he knows this game's probably now over.
He agrees with you, I think, with the little head nod. Yeah. 4 rounds straight. At this point, you pretty much can't really go back basement again. So they go gym bedroom. 4 rounds in a row required. As we go back to the highlights from the previous round, well, we didn't even really get the kill scene of Kyvenix and how he went down so early. Nico did his best, but yeah, that nade completely just dislodging him.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb. 10 seconds left.
Obviously, we saw the 6-1 lead that 6 targets had on Consulate. That ended up being a 7-5. It did showcase that there's always that capability of the comeback. 6 targets need 4 rounds straight to force OT. Not impossible on Clubhouse defense. I mean, if there's going to be a map where you can, at least in this region, do it, it certainly can be Club, but it doesn't bode well that you lost basement twice to begin the half. I think it's also fair to say, you kind of look at the wider picture, Guz, in terms of the series, the 7-0 beatdown on Cafe, the comeback on Consulate, and now the lead on Clubhouse. Rock LFO has been the better team. They've just got to now finish the job.
Yeah. It'll be ruthless from this point, and we'll see if they're able to get it done cleanly with potentially what would then be 3 attacks in a row on Club, and I think that would be a nice addition to their resume. Ooh. That's a very aggressive peek, my word.
Stop
from
peeking.
Kai. Kai's been very eager to attack early, and it hasn't worked out. That too from Nico, also falling short of the mark. Rock LFO with the advantage once more. Kai continues to over peak. Yeah.
It's a low percentage swing, right? So you're at the window. You're trying to shoot a small pixel target on the roof, but he's looking at a window position where you're body frame is so much larger and in a set known position. It's just that it's not the right swing. He'll learn from it. They'll learn from it. Zephy lets out a bit of frustration onto Cyro. But all of the real talking has been inside of the server. It's Rock LFO get the job done. They eliminate 6 targets from kickoff. It took a little longer than maybe they envisioned after the 7-0 on Cafe. They got blindsided on their map pick of Consulate. They were 6-1 down. They brought it back to a 7-5 loss. But then 7-2 here on Clubhouse puts an end to this series. They'll move forward. They'll play it again later this afternoon against the Manios. And it's the end of Nico. The Padawan beats out the Master.
Yeah, look, I think they've put a really good cherry on top of this series. The way in which they were able to close out this third and final map. The big talking line and talking point, rather, I suppose, for Rock LFO heading into this series was the attacking woes they faced in the first series here in Kickoff. And the squad historically struggling with attack today, though, it was arguably the big difference maker, especially here on Clubhouse. The way in which they were able to confidently basically wipe the floor, to be frank, on the last few rounds was really, really impressive. And I think we've probably seen enough, to be fair, in this series to now say that the best of 3 at the end of the day, there's potential in that for these guys to actually show something and to be quite competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they'll give it their best try. They'll know that going up against Team Anios isn't going to be easy after what they showed against Enterprise. But if I was going into that series from the perspective of Rock LFO, you know, Anios and Chef Jeff, they're the kind of team that they'll play up to their opponent just as much as they can kind of play down to their opponent. So I think that for them, it's like, well, yeah, they were great against EP, but maybe EP took them a little bit lightly. Maybe EP didn't quite play at their best. Maybe that match and that scoreline and the map taking, etc., was a little inflated, and we've got every chance that we can beat Chef Jeff and co. At the end of the day, that team, that Anios team, they failed to even make Pro League last year. Of course, that was without Chef Jeff on the team. So really, the gap shouldn't be that wide. It shouldn't be that massive. And so they'll probably take some confidence, especially after being warmed up earlier today, going into that series to come. We are waiting to try and get an interview set up to close out this first series of the day. But guys, moving after this, we do have the upper bracket, which should be fascinating in itself with Man Esports and Shy Academy. Man Esports, maybe on paper, the team you kind of look to suggest they should get it done, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, that could probably be, could honestly be our motto going forward, right? The only thing that really is a certainty at this point is Enterprise being the strongest by quite some margin, but it does feel like there's some serious talent developing behind the scenes. Men have looked pretty good. Shy Academy have had glimpses, I think, as well, to look competitive in that matchup. And yeah, I'm excited to see how that one does eventuate, but I guess, again, more so on this particular series, credit to Rocket getting that job done. We do have the map summary actually for this particular series, so let's have a look across at that. A recap of Clubhouse, Jake, which went by in a flash. I still can't comprehend just how quickly and abruptly that this series came to an end. Basement defense felt like a certainty. Not only did Rock LFO win it first time out, but then they backed it up second, and basically at that point, it was match over.
Yeah, I think where the surprise kind of came from was after the 3 rounds, it was 2 attacking round wins for all 6 targets. So you kind of then think, well, we've got a game on our hands that they're able to go and get the 2 early attacking rounds. So from there, you're thinking it's going to be a game. And yet you don't expect then what ended up really just happening, which was 6 rounds consecutive to Rock LFO off the back of that start from 6 targets. So the whole time you're thinking, well, this is kind of playing out as expected, where it's 2-1, sure, but then we get to the 2-4 half. Okay, let's see how things go. Then it's just 2 attacking rounds on base, and then, yeah, all of a sudden you think, well, this is done. We got the interview ready with Machine, and it's great to see. I'm expecting to see the bright lights. No, where's the bright lights, Machine? Have you turned off your lights?
I have my room lights on, so it's not too bad. It's not overexposed this time.
Yeah, so what is the deal with that, by the way? You're not obviously just playing fully blinded the whole day.
No. It's just the webcam's really bad. It's just very bad in low light.
Okay. Well, congratulations Congratulations on the win. First up, obviously you got a long day ahead. You'll play Team Anios later today. But what were some of the takeaways from the series? Because it was a strange one, the 7-0 on Cafe, but there were a lot of clutches. I don't think it was like a traditional 7-0. I think a lot of the rounds were close. And then obviously Consulate, they kind of probably blindsided you a little bit, go 6-1 up. You bring it back. So bringing it back, I think we saw the timeout is Alive is the coach. And what was kind of said there to then get you guys on a bit of a roll again on Consulate, but ultimately falling short?
Kind of just to tell you, play our game. We weren't really playing our game in the attacks. We were playing terribly, missing steps. It's just is what it is. Look to fix that going into the next couple games. Yeah, defense is really good. We played our game, played together, played off each other. So much better than the first half. Yeah.
I guess, of course, looking across to that next game against Anios, what were your and the team's key takeaways from that EP match? Obviously, they looked fairly competitive. Was that maybe a case of EP taking them lightly, or do you think that they're going to be a serious threat in that next match?
That'll be a hard team to go up against, obviously. They seem pretty strong. I think EP may have underestimated them a bit, gone a bit easy, but hey, we can only play our game against them, so...
Lastly, before we let you go, Machine, of course, you've been playing for quite a while, but last year was your real first foray into the Pro League level. What have you kind of taken from that year coming into this year? Because it seems like you've upped your game.
Just being a lot more comfortable, changing roles a bit. Started IGLing stage 2 last year, so it was a little bit of a learning curve for me, getting more comfortable now with it. So
that's good to hear. Well, hopefully we can chat again later this afternoon, shall we?
Yep, look forward to it.
Best of luck in your series against Team Anios as we move on to the schedule for today. Again, we've got an upper bracket match to get through. Man LFO versus Shy Academy. And then, as we alluded to, Rock LFO will play Team Anios later tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good to hear that from Machine. Obviously, he's continued to refine his game, just highlighting him quickly as an individual today. Probably one of the better performances I think we've probably seen from him in totality, right? He went 23-19, posted good numbers. Entry as well for him, 5-2, which was the highest net for the team as well. So credit to him, also taking that leadership duty as well. So I'm quite excited to see them against Anios, and hopefully we see a competitive Rock LFO.
All right, well, we go to the break. You can see it on your time in about 13 minutes. We'll be back for Man LFO and Shy Academy.